had your first horse in '68.
I think it was 68, yeah, Mobile Express.
You were winning quite well all the way to 72, to 92. Seen some big race cups
Yeah,
out there.
I had a horse in the Kentucky Derby. It's pictured right there in 1990. And I had another horse that put in the Kentucky Derby in 1991.
Okay.
And that's Fighting Fantasy there, you see in the picture, with the red thing on his cross. And then the other horse was Wilder Than Ever. Neither one of them did well, but they did run in the Kentucky Derby. And that's a picture there where I made all the magazines because of the background Churchill Downs, and it with all the horses coming.
Do you have hopes of still winning the Derby?
Well, I more or less gave up on that, but I might get a horse that's good enough running the Derby again.
And you've got a stable of 12 now. What's the most you ever had at one time?
43.
43. So were you willing and dealing in horses like you will and deal in cars?
I'd say that, Bobby, it's selling cars is a business, and if you want to race horses, it's got to be a business too. You can't do it as a hobby no more. It's too expensive.
Yeah.
See, it costs too much.
Yeah. What's the missus say about all this, traveling back and forth to racetracks and whatnot?
Oh, she liked it. She enjoyed it.
Did she?
Yeah, she enjoyed it.
Any special message you'd like to see in reference to your wife put into the book?
Well, what, Bobby?
Any special message you'd like to see stated in the book with reference to your wife?
Yeah, I say in the book, Bobby, that it should be dedicated to her more or less, because my career, we dated. She lived next door, and we dated a little bit before I went in the Army, and then of course I went to Japan and Korea and come back, and after we come back, I didn't come back in December '51. We got married in July of '51.
Right, you got-
52, I'm sorry.
when you rolled out of Korea?
So she went through all this military career with me all over the world, Germany, and it almost every state we went into. Anytime she could go, she went.
She held the fort together at the home front all the time.
Right. She shared the whole thing with me.
She tougher than you?
I'd say in some things she is, but I think I'm still the boss, but I'm not sure.
In your career path, you find yourself teaching at Fort Knox. Do you want to talk about that for a little bit?
Well, anytime, Bobby, you become an NCO, non-commissioned officer, and a leader, you teach all the time. Regardless. You might just be teaching a squad of people, maybe 10, 11 that's you're in charge of, or part of, or platoon, 40 people, or a company of 200 people, or a battalion of 1,000, and even a brigade that might have 3,500. So you're always teaching, but sometimes your assignment is particularly teaching certain subjects. Like at Fort Knox, I was with the Armor School as an instructor in the weapons department, and what we taught then was small arms, pistols, the rifle, and mortars and stuff like that. Okay, and then later when we started the OCS Brigade Officer Candidate School, when we started that, then of course you teach all the time, so, and the same way for NCO Academy, you always teach.
In your OCS classes, were you pretty much like in the office at 6 in the morning and home by 5, or what was your schedule like?
No. An assignment like that, if you do your job as a first sergeant or as a sergeant major, you should start out 5:30 in the morning, and you should stay with the troops and until they are ready to hit the sack, you know.
All day.
You need to do that, and that's what I did, and the wife would tell you this, I worked 7 days a week when I was with the OCS brigade or with the training brigade, training recruits, basic training, and you do it by example, but I did it because I enjoyed it also, you know. I didn't mind going out there, you know, and on holidays I'd go out there and eat in one of the mess halls, you know, with the troops. I enjoyed doing that.
Yeah.
And well, so I do the same thing here, you know, in my car business here. I'm here 7 days a week.
Lead by example?
Right. So I'm here at 7, the first one here in the morning. I'm not always the last one to leave at night, but normally when I leave, it's quiet and they maybe have an hour and a half to go before we close, you know. But I'm here, right now we close at 7 at night because of the winter time. Next month we go back to 8 p.m. at night. So we open from 8 to 8, 12 hours a day. Right now, it's from really 8 to 7, but I get here 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning. And I enjoy it because the first 30 minutes, 45 minutes, and the only person here is me. So I unlock the place, make a couple pots of coffee, and turn TV on, maybe read the morning's paper and stuff like that, and keep an eye on everything, you know.
Yeah.
And
Kind of prep the day, if you will.
hmm?
Kind of preparation for
Yeah,
the day.
it's quiet. I enjoy it.
Yeah. Did, I think your paperwork shows you were doing some teaching at the military academy on the East Coast. God, what am I wanting to say here? West Point.
No, that was Sergeant Major Doble. I never taught at West Point. That was Sergeant Major Doble before I became Sergeant Major 26th Infantry.
Okay.
But I did teach some at Fort Bragg, you know, and then also at Fort Gordon, Georgia. We opened a basic training up facility during the Berlin crisis. We all moved down our company, and we opened up a basic training in Fort Gordon, Georgia, which I think it still might have.
You wanna express what the Berlin crisis was about?
Berlin crisis was the fact that the U.S. and Russia had a problem over we had part of Berlin West and they had East, and it was divided by a wall. And Berlin was a big city, and in order to resupply troops there and to resupply the civilian population, the Russians did not want us traveling through their area of occupation. They claimed that they were occupying East Germany, you follow me?
Right.
And so they said they didn't do it. Instead of having a conflict, what we did then is resupplied by plane. And when you resupply, I don't know what the population was, but I'm saying you're talking about a million people or more, you know, that had to eat and supplies, medical, plus you had the troops that were stationed there. So they called it the Berlin Airlift. And it became a crisis. It went, I don't know how long it went on for, but it's quite a while. And it takes a lot of planes and all to fly the supplies in, the food, the medical, everything, fuel, anything you needed had to be airlifted in, you know. So what they did, it became a crisis. They didn't know where it was going to go. So they immediately had to get more facilities, train more troops, and get them ready in case we had a war over that all conflict. So that's when we went down to Fort Gordon, Georgia, and opened up a basic training outfit right away.
What year was this? Do you remember the year?
You know, I don't remember the year, Bobby. We can look it up. It's all part of history.
Right.
It's the Berlin crisis.
Okay. Command Sergeant Major Doble.
Yeah.
Did you deal with him?
Yeah. He was the Sergeant Major of the 26th Infantry, 1st Division, for 26 years. Okay. And he made the beachheads at Normandy, and he fought with them in World War II. And finally, after 26 years, he got reassigned to West Point. He probably didn't want to leave the 26th Infantry. And the nickname of that battalion is Doble Battalion, his last name. And he was the first person promoted to Sergeant Major when they made the grade, the E9 Sergeant Major. He was promoted one day before anybody else. Right. So he was the ranking sergeant, right, one day.
Stand alone.
Theodore Doble. I knew him real well. He taught me a lot,
You speak many times about people that you met in the military, some really great individuals that you grew up in the military. Any of those other names you want to express that you'd like to see mentioned?
There's so many of them. It's one that I went in the Army with, James Taylor. We went it, and of course he's the one that shipped out with me to California with no money on a train, me and him. He didn't have any
money. Rode together in Korea too, right?
Yeah, we went to Korea together, and I don't know how, but we come back together in December of '51. We just met. We didn't see one another till we were shipping out. He was in a different outfit, and we just happened to meet at the battalion that was shipping the people out, processing out. And then of course, a lot of other people. Was a guy by the name of John Coffin, Cothran. Me and him was together for 26th Infantry. We were real close friends. And we stayed together 7, 8 years, back and forth.
Do you know if the Blue Spaders are still connected? Are they still working infantry, or? They
deactivated the Blue Spaders at Fort Knox a while back when they deactivated the 3rd Brigade. Okay. And I won't say that's probably 3 or 4 months ago. I'm a lifetime member of the association, the 26th Infantry. And I was notified by the honorary colonel, who's a guy by the name of Brown, that they're going to be called back on active duty. Or they're going to bring them back on duty to battalion, 1st Battalion, 26th Infantry, at Fort Campbell, Kentucky, being part of the 101st Airborne.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and that should happen. Guessing, I said that should happen in the next 2 months.
So you're going to go down there for that process?
Oh, sure, yeah.
I'd like for you to give me some pictures from that trip.
Yeah.
And, I mean, if it's available, I wouldn't mind going.
Oh, okay.
If I
we find anybody, sure.
Yeah.
That'd be good for you, Bobby.
Yeah, I'd like to see an event like that.
Yeah.
You hear about these things from a civilian's eyes, but you don't see the process.
Right.
You don't really get the gist of it all.
Right.
It's all just a statement and a piece of paper.
It's quite a thing when they uncase the colors, they call it.
Yeah.
You have the colors, you uncase them.
Wow.
And the battalion sergeant major is more or less in charge of the battalion or the regimental or brigade colors.
Right. Okay. Now I can assume you'll be wearing your dress blues for such an event?
If it'll be over, you can, if you're retired, you can wear them on certain occasions, and you definitely can wear it on that occasion, But everybody else would probably be in the battle uniform.
In the battle uniform?
Yeah, the fatigues and the
khakis. Camo.
Yeah, camouflage.
Okay.
So I don't know. You might look kind of odd. Because the sergeant major, whoever the sergeant major is going to be, he would be dressed in the combat uniform.
Okay.
They all will be.
All right.
I doubt any of them will be in dress blues.
All right.
But we can find that out when the time comes.
I think it would be interesting to get a picture of you in your dress blues currently,
Right.
at some point. We don't,
Right.
it's not a pressing matter, you know.
Yeah, it's,
I've got a picture of you and Ray Jr. in it.
yeah, me and Ray Jr. and, I got one uniform hanging up in here, I think, Bobby, you could take a picture. Let me look, it might not be. I'll just get up and look for a minute.
All right.